My brothers, we need to talk heart to heart because you have a lot of love in your heart, and that's a good thing. God made you that way because a lot of women need a lot of love. A lot of you are struggling, though, with feelings of shame and guilt because perhaps you're married and you love your wife, but there's also another woman that you love. But this society says you can only love one woman. And so the other one you love in secret. And you don't know what to do because you love both of them. You might even have two other women that you love besides your wife. And this society says you're indecent, you're dirty, you're wrong if you love a woman other than your legal wife. My brothers, this is not our culture. In our culture, a man has the power to include every woman in his life as part of his family. That's how we made strong nations. The women worked together to collectively mother the children. That's what made us have strong communities. We didn't need a police force to secure our communities. The mothers were the security because every mother looked out for every child, and every child learned to respect every mother. That's our culture. We were passionate people. We loved life. We had celebrations for the birth of our children. And we were passionate in our love for our men. That's who we are. We saw sex as a beautiful expression of God. That's our culture. When we were taken away from our homeland by Europeans and forced into slavery, these people, the Europeans, came from a very sexually repressed culture. They followed religious teachings that said sex is a sin, it's dirty. And they had a culture that said holy people really don't need sex. But if you do have to have sex, well, you can only love one woman. So now, what did they do? Well, these sexually repressed European men came and got shiploads of us, African women, and hauled us over here. And we were the women through which they could enact their repressed fantasies. On those slave plantations, we're in our cabin. They come creeping at night to enact with us all of their repressed fantasies. And there was nothing we could do about it. Now, did we have husbands? Oh, well, yeah, you could have a man that you slept with as a black slave woman. But when the white slave master came to the cabin and knocked on the door at night, we might even be in our husband's arms. And we might have said some vows to each other and even had a little ceremony where we jump the broom. We might call him our husband. But when that white slave master came to the door and opened the door, he looked at our man and said, "Boy, get out." And the black man couldn't do anything but just get up and go, while the white man had sex with us. And the only thing the black man could do was just sit outside that slave cabin with his fists clenched in anger. But he couldn't do anything. He was just a boy. Because you see, as a man, he could protect and provide for his wife. But there were some slave plantations in some states that even outlawed marriage. Don't even pretend like it. Because you can't be a husband. You can't protect your wife. The white man said, I can have her whenever I want. And now it's not like the black man couldn't have sex. Well, he could have all kinds of sex. Matter of fact, the white slave owner wanted him to have as much sex as possible. Yes, have it as much as possible. Make as many babies as you can, because every baby belongs to me. That's part of my wealth. I might be able to sell one if it grows up, put it in the field, and you got another field hand. Yeah, black man, have babies. So the black man, in his shame for not being able to protect us as a husband, well, he could at least have status as a slave stud, and so he could have sex. And that's what happened to our people. My brothers, I need you to understand what happened, because we have to rebuild our culture. See, the relationship between the white man and his white wife, she was angry that he was creeping out in the slave cabins to come and have sex with us. But even though she was angry, she tolerated it as just a necessary thing for slavery. But she made sure she let her husband know, don't you bring your nigger gal around me, treating her like she's equal. And so that was our status, the secret side piece. Well, you know, it was a painful existence. But after the Civil War was over, and we were over that horrible slave existence, we tried to rebuild our families. But the only model we had was that alien European sexually repressed culture. So our men, you know, we tried to make families, and the black man would get his wife. But then in his heart, he was attracted to other women. Well, this society, this culture says you can only have one wife. So what did he do? He had that secret woman on the side. And so the women end up being rivals to each other. Who's going to be the one he can openly respect? Now, what we have all across our community are the results of us not knowing our culture. Because when that other woman is found out by the wife, she gets angry and wants to divorce the man. So now, how many of you all have a child by a woman somewhere, and either you're divorced or she was the other woman that you didn't marry, and she took you to court for child support? Well, you know, the court will demand that you pay. And if you don't pay, they can take you to jail. And there you are, subjected to beatings, maybe rape, maybe even killed. Prison is and always has been an extension of the slave system, designed to humiliate and dehumanize you and keep you in a position of powerlessness. When we followed our culture, we had strong families because we worked together, because cooperation and sharing is God's way. But we, the women, we lost our understanding of our culture just like you did. So now we've got all these angry women, fatherless homes. Our children don't have the benefit of your presence to give them guidance and wisdom and protection. And we see what happened. So we, the women, we have to relearn our culture of cooperation, collective mothering. But we can't do it unless you brothers also relearn our culture. In your absence, your sons have reverted all the way back to the slave plantation indoctrination of just having random sex with women and making babies with no concept of family at all. And they are ripe for this jail system because they don't have your guidance, they don't have your protection, they're making bad choices, and they're leaving their children vulnerable. And this must end. We can rebuild a culture of sharing, cooperation, collective mothering, and honor and respect for all the women. Because all women need love, and all women need to be respected and given the dignity of being in a man's family and not a side piece. That is not our culture. So my brothers, this is a big step we have to take, but we have to take it together. We have to rebuild what we need to sustain our communities and give our children the foundation of love and respect they need from a mother and a father. We can do it, but we need you to choose to reclaim your culture, your heritage of manhood. We don't need boyfriends. We had a boy in the cabin with us when the master said, "Boy, get out." We need men who can honor and love us openly and can protect us and our children. However many children you have, all the mothers of all your children, all the women that you love deserve to be honored and respected by you openly. This is the culture we are going to reclaim together. We'll be talking about this on our Sunday edition of the Female Solution Radio Show, and we want you to tune in and join in our conversation. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. We want you to call in and join the conversation. 515-605-9325. We also are going to be here live on Facebook. We want to rebuild our families. So join us on Woman to Woman with Wanda Carter on the Female Solution Radio Show, Sunday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time, and on Facebook Live. My brothers, we love you. See you Sunday.